Controversies have continued to trail the outcome of the Enugu South Urban State Constituency election because Mr. Bright Ngene, the winner of that particular election, is still currently being incarcerated in prison, serving a 7-year jail term. And a lot of people are asking the question, how will Enugu South Urban State Constituency be represented by somebody who is currently in prison? Why is Bright Ngene in prison in the first place? And which way forward? A few days ago, Mrs. Bright Ngene was here to explain why her husband is still being in prison and alleged that a few hands in Enugu State are holding her husband hostage. Now, she made a lot of other allegations and called on those who are holding her husband to leave her husband alone. Now, as a responsible media station, we are giving a right of reply to those who sued Mr. Bright Ngene to court and also see their own viewpoint and see why Mr. Bright Ngene is currently being incarcerated in prison, so that you, our viewers, will have a very clear perspective of what actually transpired. And one of those who sued Mr. Bright Ngene is Mr. Kenneth Eneh. Mr. Kenneth Eneh is an engineer who used to live in Europe and came back in 2013, where he joined the village politics that later saw to the jailing of Mr. Bright Ngene. Mr. Kenneth Eneh, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You see, there has been a lot of controversies, and this has perhaps dragged for too long, and somehow it keeps dragging. So I want to get a feel, an understanding of the entire issue. Where did this start? At what point did politics come into it? At what point did it lead to prison? And at what point are we currently? And also, the way forward.
Okay, thanks for having me. The case of Mr. Bright Ngene started far back in 2016. There in Akuke Owan, where both of us were, me and Bright, both of us were from Akuke Owan. Sometimes in 2016, we were at Eke Market Square holding a meeting with the members of Council of Elders and the Igwes, where we dictated from our revenue that 15,750,000 was missing.
That's 15,750,000
of the community money is not accounted for. It's not been accounted for.
Okay.
Then we now decided that some members who participated in the revenue and the so-called stakeholders, the elders decided that they would be invited to come and put more light on whereabouts of this very said money. When we invited some of them, a lot of them, they were pointing hands on Bright Emeka Ngene, that this very money we are looking for is in his account. At the Market Square, Bright Ngene was invited. He came on the first day. He accepted.
Let's get the storyline clear because it's very necessary. You said that there was a meeting going on.
Yeah, this meeting was being held every Tuesday.
And on the day that it was discovered that 15 million was missing, Bright Ngene was not. Yes, Bright Ngene was not there.
He was not there, but he was invited because the Chief Cornelius Harum, that was the chairman of the revenue, was invited. He said, this very money is in the account of Bright Ngene. They invited one or two other members that affirmed that this very money was being lodged in the account of Bright Emeka Ngene, because the community account was being frozen by a court order. So now the stakeholders, as they were being called, then just a group of Akuke people, decided to be lodging community money in defiance of the court order.
The stakeholders, were they constituted by the community?
No.
Okay, they were not constituted. They just come together and just decided to be doing it on their own.
Doing it on their own.
So
because of the crime, nobody constituted.
Okay, there was no committee set up by anybody.
No.
So they just came up and decided to be doing it on their own.
Doing it on their own and be keeping this very money in Bright Emeka Ngene's account, because the court order said that the community cannot open any other account and that the borrow pit should be closed. But even in defiance of the court order, they kept on working on the borrow pit and then keeping the money in the account of Bright Emeka Ngene.
So you are saying that all these were done without the authorization of the community?
Of anybody.
So if it was done without anybody's authorization, how did they come about the fact that some money was missing?
Because when we were holding meeting, we see them, we know quite well that they were working. And some of their members...
You said you people did not constitute them.
Yes.
Yet they were working, and you people allowed them to be working, even though it is against court order.
What will you do? We are not police, but the police is aware of it. Because at a time, the then PG, John Ewo, and I think some other people, they wrote a petition against myself and the two traditional rulers that we were stopping their job.
When did they write this particular petition?
I think it should be done in 2016.
Okay. The court order was in 2016?
The court order was in 2016.
And they continued to collect it in 2000?
Yes, and they continued collecting it. And that was not the only amount. There was another 22 million naira, which by the time we got to the police station, I was being asked to withdraw it by the two traditional rulers.
Withdraw it from which account?
No, to withdraw the petition. Because we have this 15 million something and some other money is missing.
So the question now is, your community did not send them?
No.
So how did they arrive at this amount of money was realized?
Because some of the members of the stakeholders were part of that very meeting that were being held at the K-Market Square with the Council of Elders.
Were you part of the stakeholders?
Yeah, I was once.
Okay, you were one of those who weren't constituted but we are collecting money.
When I returned back to Nigeria about 10 years ago, they invited me to come and join. But then when I now started seeing the things they were doing there, I left them. When I returned back from...
The question here is, we want to understand, because let's else get certain things clear, right? You said the activities was against court order. You were one of them. No,
we were doing... The stakeholders was being formed more than a year before that very court order.
Okay, wait. The stakeholders have been collecting the money.
Revenue, because they were having crisis that when they collect revenues, these revenues will disappear, will vanish.
Okay.
These are places that they collect millions of naira and then the whole money will vanish.
And nobody sent them to be collected.
No, I mean even from the town union. The town union collects and then they will eat up the whole money.
The stakeholders, are they different from the town union?
Some members of the town union were there because the two town union presidents were part.
So the two town union presidents were part of the stakeholders?
The stakeholders.
So if the two town union presidents were part of the stakeholders, how are they now not considered by the community?
Now, when you talk of constituting a body, means that there must be signatories.
There must be coming together and say, okay,
go and do this for us.
People are telling you,
go and do this for us.
Mr. This, you are the chairman, Mr. This, you are the secretary, you are Mr. This.
That is the reason why I left them before the court order, because when I got there, I saw quite well and I asked questions. Having spent about almost 40 years in Europe, coming back, they came to my house, they invited me. When I joined them for some very few months, spent a lot of money in organizing, preparing the community roads and all of this. But when I now saw that they were still going the same way, and I decided to leave, and I left them before the court order.
Okay, so let's proceed from this, because certain questions we'll ask, we'll still have to come back, but let's get a feel because we want our viewers to get a feel of how this team progressed from the point of, okay, a committee has been constituted, there has been an account. We want to get how it moved from that point to the point where we are talking about appeal, we are talking about whether the Chief Justice of Enugu State is reassigning the case or not reassigning the case. So we want to know, how did this journey move from there to there?
It moved because when we got to State CID, when they wrote a petition written by John Ewo and I think Chibuzo Ngene or somebody there from the community, we were being invited by one Uzo Igwe at State CID to come and put more light on this. When we got there, we had to tell the police that we never collected any revenue and we are not part of any revenue collection. From there now, the investigation now began. So on the process of the investigation now, they now discovered the money being lodged at Brighton Ngene's account at, I think, Diamond Bank, the 15,750,000. That the money is no longer there, not even 1 naira is being left there in that very account. When they brought the statement of account. So they invited Brighton Ngene. Brighton Ngene said that the people that asked him to collect the money, that they have taken the money.
Now, when was this particular one happening?
I think this should be between 2016 and 2017.
Okay, it was still within 2017 that we are talking about.
Yeah.
You checked the 15 million is not there.
Yeah,
and then Bright was asked and he said the people that asked him to collect the money,
that
they have taken the money.
Taken the money.
Good.
And proceed. Who was this and this? Because when we had to go into the statement of account, I think from there we even discovered that 1 million naira was being deposited in his wife's account, the account of Brighton Ngene's wife.
From where?
From that very the same account. From that very 15,750,000. 1 million naira was being transferred to his wife. And then the other ones here and there, here and there, here and there. That was why when we now decided that we have to go to the court.
Wait. How did you get access to the statement of accounts?
From the police. Because
okay,
the police,
they were subpoenaed to bring the statement of
the
accounts.
police had to write to the bank that brought the statement of account.
Okay. So now you people went to the police. This was happening in the year 2017.
2017.
Okay. So how did it now proceed?
From there now, at the time, we now decided that if we cannot settle this thing to the level of the police, let's take it to the court. Then it was being taken to the magistrate court.
In 2017?
In 2017, by one magistrate, Eze, or the person who handled the case.
Okay. So how did it now proceed from 2017 to 2023?
Yeah, from 2017, I think one of the first things that Magistrate Eze did was he asked us to go home and settle this very matter. We agreed. We left the court. But on trying to settle the matter, Bright Ngene refused coming to that very meeting. Not even, he never appeared there once.
So he did not appear for how many years?
Even up to the last day that, because after that very Eze, after we went to Eze, from there Eze had to retire because he was almost on the verge of retirement.
When did Eze retire?
I think in 2017 he retired.
Okay, so the case was handed to another magistrate. Okay, to own in the same 2017.
I think in either 2017 or 2018. I cannot.
Okay, but it's still within that time range.
Yeah, I think within that. Then when Owen now started handling this very case, I remember that Barrister Jerry Eneh came to the court again and stopped the proceeding, begging that as a senior statesman, let him take the case out of court and settle it. All of us were being invited in Jerry's house. Even the two traditional rulers, the Noes, John Ewo and so on. But Bright Ngene again refused. He said he's not going to attend the meeting. And he never attended even once. Based on this, now we saw quite well that Bright Ngene was ready to proceed with the case. And then we continued with the case.
When did you now continue with the case?
I think it should be around 2018 or so.
So how did the case drag from, okay, you people went home to resolve it, you couldn't resolve
because
it?
Bright never wanted.
Because Bright didn't come.
He did not attend, even once.
Okay, so and the barrister took over the case and said you people should come to his house and resolve it.
He came up to about 4 to 5 times.
And Bright didn't attend
Bright
even
never
once.
attended even once. The 2 traditional rulers were there.
Okay, so now from that period 2018 till 2023, what happened within that period?
From that very period now, I know quite well that thing dragged until when COVID came. Jerry had to travel to come back within some very few weeks. He was being blocked in America, I think, for about 6 months or whereabouts. When he came back now, we had to restart the case. Jerry came to the court and then told the court that he was unable because Bright did not attend. Then we now continued with the case. From there, at the time I came to the court, I heard that somebody from Enugu High Court came there, took the documents and the rest of them, the case stopped. After which, the thing was being assigned to one magistrate, Mama. Then from the magistrate, we came to the court. The man called me in front of the court.
Which year?
I think that should be around 2019 or after COVID. After COVID.
Okay.
He now called me and asked me, what should we do to this very case? How can we resolve this very case? I said, whichever way you want. He said, what if I send you to multi-door? I said, I would be willing. Because Bright Ngene is just like my brother. From then on, the man now decided to send the case to multi-door. And then again, inside the court there, I alerted this very magistrate that you cannot even handle this case because Bright Ngene is your classmate. They had conflict of interest. But the man decided to transfer the case. When Magistrate Mama transferred this very case, immediately Bright ran and wrote a petition to DSS against me and the 2 traditional rulers. We went to DSS to meet one Dr. Jaffa, because he was threatening me almost every day, you must come, you must come. We had to honor the invitation. We went to
So
DSS.
you people did not go to multi-door again?
No, we did not go to multi-door because Bright never allowed this very case to rest. He was insisting. From DSS, I took the court documents to DSS. Then they said that they have to invite Bright. After they called me, they said that Bright refused coming. We left. Getting to Akuka, I think about 2 weeks later, another call came from State CID, from legal department in State CID by one Ofete. I honored the invitation with Igwe Woye and one Vitus Ani. When we got there, it was still the same case. Bright and John Ewu, through their lawyer, wrote another petition that wanted to kill them. We embezzled 38 million naira. So which we now ask of it, why can't you, is this at 8 million, is it in draft, in check or in cash? But nobody saw 1 naira.
Okay. Now, that is another different case being brought to forward by Bright Ngene. So the question now is, how did it get to 2023 when you people are now back to the magistrate court, the decision?
Yeah, because from here now, a lot of things had to happen, a lot. My younger brother, that were being threatened by this very group, Bright, they have a group led by Honorable Oyeobu. They were practically leading everything in Akuke. They decide who comes to Akuke and who leaves. My brother came in, second to our last born, telling me the threats he has been receiving.
Is there any evidence to this threat?
I think the case now is still under investigation.
Let's stick to the case we will know about.
Yeah, but I'm trying to, no, but it must be better with touch so that the public will have to know what happened here.
For when it comes to threat or no threat.
No, he was later killed though. He was killed.
That is what we are talking about. It's a matter under investigation, and if there is an evidence to the fact, we'll be talking about maybe a murder case or thereabout. But what we are talking about is, like you said, a case of 15 million.
No, okay, after when this very case was being lodged in Multidor, and then I now started seeing the threats, because he even sued us to court, Bright Ngene and John Ewo. Because when the police invited him again, he didn't go to the police. He now decided to approach the court. I think the judge is Aja. We were being served court notice. We went there several times. So after seeing the speed at which Bright was going, and I started going to different offices informing that there is threat to my life, that this very Multidor something is no longer working. I even went to the Attorney General. I went to a lot of people and begged them that this case should be returned to the court, because we cannot be compounding felony.
Okay, you went to the Attorney General.
I went to different offices wherever I know and told them about this very case, that since we now decided that this very case should be settled, that Bright Ngene refused resting for even a day.
Okay.
So that was when now this very case again was being reassigned to Magistrate Onwu, because Onwu even stopped because of the serious threat coming to his life.
That's what we are talking about, because when you talk about serious threats, we may need evidence, and it becomes your word against theirs. And what we are trying to see here and establish is what is the real issue and which way forward. How did we get here? So we want to understand, in 2023, how did we get to the point of sentencing? You say that the case was now reassigned to
Onwu, and then we returned back to the court.
In 2023.
And I think I think should be, it was being reassigned to Onwu. I think it should be last year, or this is 2025. I think it should be 2023. It was being reassigned
after Bright Ngene has won election.
Bright Ngene never won election. The result of the election came out last week.
The INEC has declared him winner. So
just only last week. Bright Ngene never won any election. Let's
stick to the fact that we know, and the fact that we know is that as of May 2023, Bright Ngene was leading with over 3,000
even
votes.
If it's a billion, but he never won any election.
So after that election, that showed that Bright Ngene was on his way to becoming a House of Assembly member. That was when the case now got to
No, after mind you, if you look here, I'm a member of the Labour Party.
We've not. So like wait. Like I said during the introduction,
we are talking of community issue. I am not interested in politics. Remove the political part of it.
We will get to politics. We will get to politics. We will get to evidence. We get to all.
I don't have anything to do about
what we need to establish now is the procedure. We've moved from 2016, we are now at 2023. So we want to, from 2023, we will now get to 2025. And after we've gotten to 2025, we will now begin to see other intervening. That is why I don't want us to be looking at other. Let's our viewers get a clear understanding
of what happened. That
how did we move from here to here?
We moved from this very gap that you are talking was because of BC Wobodo. BC Wobodo never wanted this very case to progress.
Who is BC Wobodo?
BC Wobodo is one of the lawyers there. I think either to Bright or to John Ewo, I don't know. But he never wanted, mind you, I attended this court proceeding not less than 100 times, because we had accelerated hearing 3 times every week.
When?
From 2017. From 2017. We wanted to end this very case. We could have ended this very case within 2018 or at worst 2019. We We could have ended the case.
That is what we are talking about. You told us that in 2023 it was reassigned to and this was after the election and the inconclusive election.
I said now.
Wait,
listen.
We are establishing a timeline here. When was the case reassigned to
I cannot say the exact date,
but it was in 2023.
But I am trying to tell you, this community issue, please. I am a member of a card-carrying member of Labour Party. Don't ever bring anything about politics into this very affair.
Wait,
nothing concerns me with whether election. I don't even know whether he contested election.
The issue is not about whether you know that it's contested election or not. And the issue also, politics is politics, whether it is village politics, it is Enugu state politics, or international politics. Politics is politics. And whether we like it or not, the fact that a certain people came together and they say that they are a committee and they are in charge of collecting revenue on behalf of the people, it is politics. Whichever way we see it, politics is politics. So let's get to the direction of letting our viewers, because I am from Ekwebe, you are from Akuke, I have no business with you, I will never have. Now, what we will get to understand is what transpired. That's what we want.
Transpired that he stole the community money
in 20. Wait,
and then that was when the court judged.
Wait,
because if you go, this is the judgment of court of appeal.
We will get to court of appeal, okay, because we are still at 2023. So it was reassigned to Onwu in 2023. When did Onwu give judgment?
On I think June 28th of last year.
That is 2024. So 2024. It was reassigned to Onwu in 2023, and between 2023 and June 28, the declaration was made. Now, we've established that. Has there been appeals?
Appeals by who?
By Bright Ngene.
Yes, he went for appeal, and then this is the judgment of the appeal court.
Okay, and what did the judgment say?
The judgment said, I think it was 2 against 1. 2 of the judges said that what Onwu did is in line. One said that they should trash the
case,
the judgment of Onwu.
So what is the role played by the Attorney General and the Enugu Chief Justice?
Attorney General.
That is the case. We, just like I told you, we want to get a clear view of what happened. So what happened and how did the Attorney General and the Chief Justice of Enugu State come into this matter?
Yep. Now remember, I told you of compounding felony. When you see a criminal case and then you want to sweep under the carpet, I told you from the beginning, I spent nearly 40 years in Europe. So the mentality will always be different. Criminal cases are not supposed to be swept under the carpet the way we do here in Enugu and in Nigeria. And that is why all these things continued, and then it will always continue until when we learn to do things the right way.
How did
the Attorney General has got the right, even if I decide now to close the case completely, the Attorney General has got the right, if he sees something implicating there, that is a criminal case, to reopen it and then look into it properly. I went to them and asked them, please, when this case was forcefully closed, the case was forcefully closed and sent to multi-door. Because I told you that Mama is a classmate to Bright Ngene. Okay,
and you sense a bias?
A lot.
Okay, which was why you felt it was closed?
Yes, and then I started running to everybody who can assist in reopening this very case.
So, and
they reopened it.
In 2023, it was opened and
then it was assigned to the judge, to the magistrate that was handling this very case, because Mama was a cooked up something.
Okay, so what you see now that what we are getting towards is getting the actual thing that happened. So we've now been able to move from 2016 to the point you say this judgment was given in 2024.
Which one? No, this is appeal
When
is,
was the appeal given?
appeal is on May 2025.
May this year.
This year.
That the appeal court gave their judgment sustaining what the magistrate had done.
Yeah.
So have you been filed with any case to the Supreme Court in respect to this? Has there been any move?
I don't know,
towards
because
the Supreme
this
Court?
is Bright that filed this, not me.
That is what I am telling. That is what I am asking. Have you been informed that maybe there is an appeal to the Supreme Court?
I don't know.
Not?
I don't know.
Okay, that is exactly what we would want to get at this particular point in time. So, having established the angle from which the case moved from 2016 to 2025, we now proceed to other issues, because there were a series of allegations, and one of them is that you were a member of the committee, and not just that you were a member of the committee, but you were also given a contract of 70 million by this committee. And from what you've told us here, the committee was not constituted. It's just people who came out and gave themselves power and said they are in charge. I think that was what you said.
Yes.
And the same people that we are not really constituted by the community and did not really have any real power to function, and especially we are functioning against court order, gave you a contract of 17 million.
Wrong, yeah?
It's not about getting, it's an allegation against you, and you have a right of reply. So that is what I want you to clarify. If nobody ever gave you a contract of 17 million, that is what you are here to say. If somebody gave you, that is what you are here to say, and you tell us, okay, how did a committee that didn't really have any legal backing and any community support give you a contract of 17 million? And some also alleged that you did not execute the contract being given to you effectively and something. I've not been to Akupe in years, so I want to understand.
Okay.
Were you given this contract? If you were given, did you execute?
Okay. This was in 2014. Not even, the court order is in 2016. So we are now returning back to 2014. In 2014, when I came back, I remembered we had...
Wait. I want to get something. The court order prevented...
From 2016.
Okay, wait. The court order prevented money from being lodged into the community account in 2016.
2016. But now...
From which account were you now giving a contract in 2014?
Okay, allow me now to give you the answer.
That is why we are here.
In 2013, when I returned back to Nigeria, I remembered meeting Dr. Nicholas Abu, somewhere there in Abuja. And then from there, we drove down to Enugu, went to the house of Professor Batenaji. An agreement was being reached to give the chairman of the Revenue Collecting Committee, the one, Desmond Ubu, who I think he died either this year or
what is Batenaji's stake in Akuke community?
Yeah, I learned while I was in Europe that when one time they had problem, they had to invite Batenaji to come and mediate for them. I wasn't there.
Is there any way that Bat is related to the community? Maybe from his mother's side, father's side?
Not really, but as the leader of the Odenigbo, as the supreme leader of the Odenigbo.
Okay.
So that is where he came in.
So now, how did they arrive at the committee?
Okay, no, you are now talking of contract. In 2013, after going to Bat now appointed Chief Chief Desmond Ubu. Desmond Ubu did his own part for 9 months. It was not going better. They reappointed Chief Cornelius. So when Chief Cornelius came now, they don't have money. There's a road contract.
He was appointed as what?
As the chairman of the Revenue Management Committee, Chief Cornelius.
Okay, there is a Revenue Management Committee.
Yeah,
constituted by the community.
They appointed before I came back to Nigeria.
Okay.
So I don't know the way they operate. So when they don't have money, I used my own money. I, Kenneth, used my own money. I think I spent about, then should be about 3 million naira, which is almost about 18,000 euro. I had to go and bring and then change it into naira, brought bulldozer from Ngene, regraded their roads. Then in 2014, after grading that very road, nobody gave me, as we are talking today, nobody gave me 1 naira. In 2014, because I was an importer, I import wine from Italy, where I grew up, where I schooled. In 2014, they called me that they wanted to do the road. That the one I did was okay. And that was not a contract. What they do is on daily basis, if we need 500,000 naira to go and rent Caterpillar at Ngene, they will bring 500,000 naira. We'll go there and rent Caterpillar.
And was Bright in this committee at this point you are talking about?
I think Bright there was, the stakeholders made him secretary of contract awarding something.
So no, he was not the secretary of the revenue generating a committee.
No, it was what is the name of mature? Some other person was the secretary of the revenue of Cornelius.
Okay, so he was not in the committee when
Bright was a member of the stakeholders.
So how did we arrive to the tune of 17 million? Or such amount was never given to you in any way?
No. What we used to prepare the road was 7 million naira, and that was the only receipt that these very stakeholders ever had, because we collected receipts from companies that rented us Caterpillars. The latrite, I brought latrite from Akuke. 10% the cost of a trip of latrite, because we did not buy anything from outside Akuke. We only rented Caterpillars. Today, I still have piles of the receipts in my house. And the stakeholders, even when we went to EFCC, that is the only receipt they presented. My own receipt.
The 7 million naira, not 17 million.
No, 7 million naira. I have the whole receipts. So nobody gave me contract. Rather, we are doing it on daily basis. When we need to rent Caterpillar, we go there and rent Caterpillar. Nobody gave me contract. So, mind you that they did one account before this very 15 million something. If supposing that they're supposed to have included the money in the account book, that they gave me 17 million.
The question, because there is a gray area that I want to shine light on and bring clarity.
Okay.
Because if a committee wasn't really set up and people started collecting revenue, who are they now giving accounts to?
Then, once in a while, once in a year, they normally come to the market square. Because there is no place that there is money that you will not see bees. Once you tell the community that they're receiving 200,000, the community, they will come out. Whether genuine or not, whether legal or illegal, okay, if you tell them now that somebody, the people that have not been collecting 1 naira, and you tell them that somebody now collected 200 naira for them, everybody will come.
Okay. You see, we are now finally getting somewhere, because I wanted to establish this thing so that our viewers can have a clear view of what we want.
The only part I am against is trying to politicize it or bring it into the election.
Let's
Once we remove everything about the election, we cannot continue.
Now, because we've been able to establish how it's played out and how the money that they said you were given, you said it is not 17 million,
and I have the receipts.
And you executed.
And it's only to rent Caterpillars.
It is just to rent Caterpillars. There is nothing about buying stones or buying gravels.
No. I collected latrite from Akuke.
So, okay, the latrite was from Akuke, everything was from Akuke. The only money that was paid was the money you used to rent
Not
Caterpillars.
Even 1 naira went to buy even a bag of cement. We do not buy cement.
Okay, this is very, very okay, so that we can get a clear view of what we are talking about.
And I have the receipts.
Now, very good. the political angle, because there is politics to it. And you said you came back from Italy, because I had wanted to ask whether you had a construction company, but you said it wasn't a contract.
No.
It was just come and
on daily basis. If we have something to do, we go rent Caterpillar.
So largely most of the things that we are done, we are informal. So now the question is, how do we formalize the informality, and how did we finally come to a point of putting money in Bright's account? Because the timeline
in Bright,
wait, the timeline has issues, right? You said as of 2014, when you were given the contract,
not contract.
when you handled the purchase or the renting of caterpillars, Bright wasn't a member of the revenue generating committee.
No.
Now, and the account, or the court judgment that froze the account of the community, was done in 2016. The case also went to court in 2016. So which timeline was money paid into Bright's account? Which timeline was it spent? Which timeline did it get to the point of going to court? Because what you are getting us to understand is that it was in 2016. Let's even assume that it was January 1st that in 2016 that the court said no money should be paid into the community account. When and how did that money now enter Bright's account?
Because as at that very time, remember I told you I was no longer a member of the stakeholders. I have gone my way.
When were you a member? Okay, you were a member between
2013 and 2014.
And 2014.
Then from 2015, 2016, I was no longer a member. I've gone my way.
Okay, so how now did we come to the point of money entering Bright's account?
I said at the market square, where we normally meet with the Council of Elders every Tuesday, we needed money to pay for lawyers and all this. And then there was a report that 15,750,000 is in Bright's account. They have this very money. Then now,
okay, they made the report.
Somebody made the report. And from there now, started investigating, started calling them one after the other, and everybody was pointing hand on Bright Ngene.
Okay, you took it upon yourself.
Not from me, the council.
Okay.
Because that is the Council of Elders. It involves one single, the oldest man from each family.
Okay.
The traditional rulers, the two Igwes were there in the meeting.
Okay, and you people took it upon yourself to go and do the investigation. You said you are a member of a Labour Party and all of the political, that it is not political. But there are also cases that there has been some factions, because you want to get a very much clearer picture that there has been factions, that there are people who are saying money should be paid into this the community account, the PG account. Some people are saying it should be paid to the Igwe. No. I'm coming. So after, when I have finished explaining everything, you now give us your own perspective. Yes, because they say there was issue between the PG, or the town union as the case may be, and the Igwe, or the traditional rulers as the case may be. So the traditional rulers are on one side and the town union are on the other side. That was what led to the closing of the account. And what we want to ascertain is, between that time, how did money enter there? And you've come to tell us that see, you weren't there, so you didn't know how money entered. All you knew was that they made account and they said 15 million was remaining. And then Bright said those who put the money there have collected it. Something like that. So moving on, we want to understand, because you keep saying that there is no political angle to it, but everything seemed, because you told me that it was after COVID that you people started talking about multi-door, or this or that one, and then somehow the case resurrected when there was an inconclusive election which Bright was clearly leading. And Not just that it's resurrected, but a case that took 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, let's remove 2020 because of COVID, then 2021, 2022, and all of a sudden in 2023, within a period of 6 months, the case was done and decided. We want to understand what role did Bright, becoming the Labour Party House of Assembly candidate, winning election, got to do with this?
Okay, let me answer you now. The account we are talking, remember that Bright Ngene, even when that very account has been frozen, Bright Ngene paid in 300,000 naira to the same account. You can pay money into that account, but you cannot withdraw.
Which account?
It's a community account with Eco Bank.
Okay.
So Bright Ngene paid in 300,000.
When?
Within that very period, it was closed.
Okay.
So it means that the whole all these 15,750,000 can be paid into that very account, but they cannot withdraw it.
Okay.
So him and his group,
which we are not constituted.
whether constituted or not, I'm not the person that.
But you say they were not.
I said to constitute, that means that the community must have to give them a letter of authorization, which I have never seen, and that was why I left. Having spent years overseas, I know the way things are being done. That the way what we find down here is a different thing.
We have oral tradition, not written.
No problem. But what I'm trying to tell you is, now and again, you want to know how that very case was being moved, and then
we want to understand the political angle to it.
Please, my brother, I campaigned for Ato in Enugu South. I campaigned for the lady in Amechi. I campaigned for
you are carrying your Labour Party card. Yeah. So that is what you are supposed to do, actually.
This is my party. So whichever interpretation you want to give, I know where you are dragging to. You cannot drag me there. I am a card-carrying member of Labour Party. So I don't know anything.
What you are talking about is that
what I was treating, me personally.
You personally
was a community.
Because there are insinuations.
A case that started must finish one day.
Of course.
You believe that it will linger for eternity.
The question, because I do not believe that it will linger for eternity. I am a journalist and I understand our judicial system. It is not about ending. Such cases are supposed to end within a few months, not even.
Because I've told you why.
The question we want to get is because there are insinuations. And insinuations in the public, before you know it, the people start regarding them as facts, and that is why you are here, so that probably you can debunk and give some insight. But
I must have to help you.
Wait.
That you don't waste the whole day for nothing.
Wait, you said there was no political underpinning.
For me.
For you.
I'm a member of Labour.
But there are cases that you people had two camps and you used to belong to Bright Ngene's camp, and that was how you were able to execute the road contract, but you people fell off along the way and you joined the other camp. And following the election issues, some people in your new camp have been rewarded with political positions from the state government. We want you to clarify, is this the fact?
No, it's not. It's not. Let me tell you something which you must have to put it very clear. In the court, mind you that Bright Ngene has closed its case more than 2 years before that very time. That the magistrate was too generous to have even allowed him to add more words, say whatever he wants to say. He has closed its case long ago. That is not even supposed to alter any other word there in the court. But
so if he had closed his case for 2 years, for crying out loud, 2 years, if somebody, because I'm a journalist, I may not be a lawyer, but I understand that when you close your case, it's just a few weeks to judgment. So why did it drag for 2 years after somebody has closed this case?
It's only BCO, Barrister BCO that can answer this very part. Because BCO Bodo, in the court, he almost fought the magistrate. He does not allow people to talk. He keeps on.
Who was he representing?
I think John Ewo. And the other guy, what is them?
So did John Ewo also close his case at the time Bright did?
John Ewo never went, even to the last day. John Ewo does not want to enter the dock. Even up to the last day. Enter the dock, you say, no, I'm not going.
So,
and then this very magistrates that, you see, they were threatening the magistrate right there in the court.
Okay, so another issue is that a few people have the underpinning that it was because Bright was winning the election.
We even talked of different camps.
Yes.
I answered that very
okay.
well.
Give me, because I was still about to talk about
my
the
brother,
camps. Because let me complete so that you can give a whole the holistic answer. People feel like some individuals from the Amaechi axis approached You Are Now New Camp and then offered funding and everything to help accelerate the matter, so that a matter that has dragged for nearly 10 years will be decided in just a few months and concluded, and so that Bright will no longer go for House of Assembly. We want you to clarify this once and for all.
Mind you, I spent 2 months in prison.
Where?
At Enugu prison here.
For this particular case?
It's the same thing. I was just coming back and then they invited me.
When did you spend these 2 months?
I think that should be last year, early last year I came out. Under January last year. I just came back. They invited me that they broke beacons. Finished beacons. The police dragged me when they were pricing, just like as we are buying granite. Give me 500,000, give me 1 million, give me this.
You were in jail or police cell?
Prison, Enugu prisons for 2 months. And later I was being cleared by the Attorney General. For what? I don't even know the area.
So the Attorney General withdrew the case?
Yeah, because there was no investigation, nothing.
So there was no investigation?
No investigation.
Which judge remanded you in prison?
One yellow, what is that man's name?
A justice of the High Court or a magistrate?
A magistrate. Because when they get you, they will not take you to the High Court where you will be granted bail. They will carry you to magistrate court. And that was what?
Okay, so a different magistrate.
A different magistrate. And then
took over this particular
the whole thing
matter.
was, I had 3 days to the burial of my mother. 3 days to the burial.
And the Attorney General of the state intervened in your matter and brought you out?
Yes.
Okay.
Because when we now looked into it, we saw quite well that investigation was not even done.
Okay. At this point, we are concluding because you've now heard from the horse's mouths and you've heard from the 2 angles to this particular case. We may also in future time bring in lawyers to help us dissect the legal jurisprudence and every other thing that is involved in this matter, so that we, the masses and people who are following this case, we get to see what actually transpired and how to proceed from here, because we may be facing a constitutional matter in the days, months or weeks to come. From African Telecast United Television, I am Ugwabo Emmanuel Chizoba.